It is 7 minutes moving down past the 8 o'clock hour. This is the In the Spotlight radio show, and I am your host, Fidina Frampton, welcoming you to tonight's program. Always a pleasure to be here on the program. Sometimes I actually look forward to a Monday nights because I just don't know what it is I'm going to hear, what it is I'm going to discover, what it is that I'm going to learn. That's what this program is all about, especially when I do not get a chance to speak to the guest in advance and I get to hear just as you are hearing as well. Let me welcome you to the program from wherever you are tuned in tonight. Starting off with those of you listening live on Q95 FM radio on 95.1 FM, or if you're listening via www.q95da.com. If you're using any one of the online mediums, we're happy to have you. And if you're tuned in via Facebook Live, we're always happy to have you as well, because you get to actually see what's happening in the studios. You get to see me a little bit now. I was encouraged to at least allow the viewers to see me at least at the beginning of the program, so that's cool. I can do that. And I also will be switching across to our guest as well once I'm through doing my introductions. I'm going to give those of you who are actually on Facebook Live an opportunity just to say hi, so I can just say hi back to you in quick time while we do our introduction of the program tonight. So just say hi or just wave or something, just to let us know that you are there, so we can say a little hello to those of you who are viewing live. I want to use the opportunity to congratulate Colton T. Colton was our guest last week Monday, and he was scheduled to have his, all right, Leoncia, good evening to you, and Hubert Thomas, and Empress Kendra Nicholas. All right, they're saying hi. Noreen Nelson, Fanelia Lawrence, good evening to you. So Colton actually had his album launch last week Wednesday. It was held at the Crazy Coconuts, and I must commend him and his organizers, whoever assisted in organizing the event, that I thought it was a wonderful event. Everything flowed nicely. The atmosphere was beautiful. You met good people. I sat at a table with Val Coffey, and I think Nari Murphy was also at my table. And it was just a really beautiful event of a very high standard. So congratulations to you, Colton T. Hi, Wendy and Ashanta. I think you've really set a good standard, a high standard for future album launches to come. And I really do hope that persons go out and purchase the music throughout the various mediums that they are available. So just wanted to do that as it relates to Colton T. And thank you again for being our guest last week. Let me say thank you and acknowledge Q95 FM radio, allowing us to be here every Monday night for this program. We really do appreciate you. We want to thank as well Innovate Multimedia for supporting us with our graphics that we need for the program. Appreciated. Kadisha is here with us as well, giving her support tonight in studios. And anyone else who gives support in one way or the other to the program. I actually, while I was driving down here to the studios, I actually thought about a particular businessman, and that businessman gave me some financial support for the program at one point in time, and that businessman has never allowed me to call his name or to say thank you to him, but I know he's a very big fan of the program, and if he is listening tonight, He knows exactly who he is. And I just want him to know that, you know, I continue to appreciate what he did, because it actually came in quite handy, because for quite some time, even after the hurricane, when I resumed the program without having a vehicle, and I had to pay taxi, you know, to get here and get back and so on. And it came in quite useful and quite handy. So that businessman, you know yourself, I just want you to know that, you know, I have not forgotten the kindness that you showed me and your generosity. And I want you to know that I continue being thankful for the support that you provided to the program. And if anybody else wants to provide any kind of support, you know, we always welcome it. If you want to be a sponsor of the program as well, we really do welcome anyone who wants to be a part of this. I think this program, in my view, I know probably it may not be correct to evaluate yourself, but I know that this program is changing lives, it's making a difference, it's inspiring, it's motivating others. And I know when we come here on a Monday night, we're definitely not wasting our time. Hi Karen, we're definitely not wasting our time, and we want you to know that, and we hope that you don't think that we are wasting our time when we come here on a Monday night, because as I've said to you before, it takes a lot of effort and commitment to be here to do this. So thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in, thank you for viewing, and thank you to the guests who've actually passed through the program over the last 6 years. We actually celebrated our 6th anniversary last week, Monday, coming full circle 6 years from the very first program, which was first aired on May 13th in the year 2013. Good night to you, Dr. Sam. My brother Kurt is also tuned in. And, you know, I just want you to know that we are here to do this for you, and we'll continue doing it as long as we possibly can. We just launched our website as well. It's still a work in progress, but check it out if you get a chance. It's www.inthespotlightradioshow.com. So check us out as well. Check out our fan page. We have a fan page. Check us out. Become a fan of our page. And for those of you, by the way, who are attempting to befriend me on Facebook, I really cannot accept any more friends. So I am at my 5,000 mark, and I have over 1,000 and more friend requests, but I really cannot accept anymore. If you're really interested in what I do, then feel free to follow me. You just go to my page and you follow me. So that's it. As we get ready for the In the Spotlight radio show tonight, again, good evening to you wherever you are. We're coming right back with tonight's guest. And tonight's guest actually, from the time that I posted that she was going to be the guest tonight, I started seeing such beautiful things being said about her, and I said, oh my goodness, she's a very, very well loved individual, and I suspect I will learn why tonight on the program. Our guest tonight is Nurse well, I think we're gonna have a challenge tonight because we say in Dominica, like she explained it to me, we say Mignon, but she said her name is really Mignon. You know, so do I say Mignon? I like Mignon, though it really rolls nicely off the tongue. So we'll see how it goes. But it's Mignon Rolle Shillingford, and she's a nurse by profession, and we're going to chat in just a while. Keep it locked. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. We're coming back.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
interesting personalities, educational and informative topics and issues, intriguing and entertaining. A must listen to. In the Spotlight, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on Q95.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't normally get nervous on radio, but I'm feeling it.
What's that?
I said I don't normally get nervous on radio, but I'm feeling
No,
it
just
because
relax.
I'm going to speak about me.
You're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine, you know.
You're going to be
Because
just fine.
for what?
Your husband, don't let him bother you.
No, he's not the one.
You're
He's
quite
just-
fine.
I don't like that.
In fact, you're there to provide moral support. 19 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. Welcome back to the In the Spotlight radio show tonight. We are happy to have someone in studios who can give us the perspective of the nurse. And interestingly, this nurse has actually worked in the accident and emergency department. And I really would like to hear how things work there. The changes that have been made, some of the experiences. I look forward to this, Mignon. Let me go across to her and say good evening.
Hello, good evening, Fedina, and good evening to our listening and viewing public. It's nice being here with Fedina tonight. The other nights I am sitting at home with my phone. Sometimes I screencast the show to my TV and watch it big screen.
Oh,
And tonight I'm on the other side.
yes.
I can't say that I'm not nervous because
Yes.
normally when I'm here, speaking in the media is normally talking to people about health and wellness and how to improve. And this time I'm going to be talking about self. I'm someone who always believed that in terms of nursing and your practice, it should be seen and not necessarily heard.
I understand.
So that's the reason. But everything happens for a reason, and I think maybe the time is now.
That's right. But interestingly, from you being a fan of the program and listening to the program, you actually wrote to me one time asking me to have a particular person on the program, and I think that was Nurse Valerie. And we actually worked it out, and we had Nurse Valerie on. Tell me why you thought it was important for me to have Nurse Valerie on the program at the time.
Okay, so Nurse Valerie is a very strong nurse, and of course I met her while I worked at the Faculty of Health Sciences, Dominica State College. For some time I was the clinical instructor there, and I met Nurse Valerie, and even her struggles in having a chronic disease, which is lupus. I don't know if the public remembers. We also call it SLE, lupus. And I saw her struggles and her determination. She had started doing her nursing program some years ago, and then when I entered the college, started working there, she was back trying to get through, and I looked at her and I said, if all women were as strong as this, and if all persons who come into the nursing profession come in with that level of love and empathy, there were times when she was very ill, in pain while she worked on the ward, and she made a decision that you know, I want to take care of somebody else instead. You know, I'm not going to look at what I'm going through, and instead I'm going to use my skills and knowledge, and I'm going to, you know, care. So I see her as a very strong, you know, individual, and I think that should be broadcast. You know, that everyone should know about her. And also, it was done in helping to raise awareness about lupus.
I thought that was very, very thoughtful and very kind of you to come up with the idea of positioning a friend, a colleague, to talk about her own experiences as it related to lupus. And I do remember her, and we had a very, very good program, and I think you were able to get some of the awareness that you attempted to get through the program. And how is she, by the way?
Oh, Krishna is doing great.
Yes.
Yes, I consider to be one of my daughters.
Okay.
That is something you might learn as we continue tonight. I have a number of daughters and sons. All of the nurses I have trained or have been part of their training. I do have a lifelong communication or relationship with them. So, you know, I call them my daughters and sons. And yes, so she's a daughter, and we speak. She's no longer here in Dominica. She has migrated, but we still keep in communication very often.
Okay.
Just to add, there was one other reason why I also wanted her to come on. A lot of times people believe that because they have a chronic condition, this disease, that there may be no cure, or so that their life is done, you know. And look at Krishna, you know, she had lupus. I mean, she had a number of flares during her time, but she became a nurse, a professional. So it's just empowering persons and letting them know these diseases are not a life sentence.
Okay. I did not give you an opportunity. I'm just realizing to say good evening.
Yes, I did.
We did.
Yes.
We did that. Yes. Oh my goodness. Monday is normally a long day, so you know you have to forgive me sometimes for the things that the minor infractions that I make on the program. Okay. So let us understand before we start talking about you. When we speak about a nurse, how do you define a nurse, who a nurse is, what a nurse does?
Okay, so if we want to speak in terms of professionalism and in terms of the International Nurses Code and all of that, what makes a person a nurse, simply put, is someone that has gone through a process of theory and practice. Okay, so it has to be theory and it has to be practical for a period of time. And in our case right now, because we are doing generic bachelor's programs, so you're going straight into bachelor's. Before, it would have been a diploma course.
Okay.
So you would have done it in like 3 years period. Right now it's at bachelorette level, so it's now a 4-year program. Okay, so 1, you have done theory and practice, and 2, you have go through a period of years. From that, you have to sit a licensure examination and passed. Okay, so we call it, the licensing exam is called RENR, Regional Examination for Nurse Registration. So you would have passed that, and then you get the title nurse. So just like doctor, right? That nurse, you can be used in any forum. So the fact that people really call us Nurse Shillingford, Nurse John, it is a title that is given to us because we haven't changed it. Right? And with that, you become an RA.
Okay.
Registered nurse. Okay, so this is the process of becoming a nurse.
This is the process.
Theory, practice, examination, period of years, and pass your exam.
Yes, go ahead.
So that's in terms of the, you know, in terms of professionalism and ICN codes and all of that. But of course, you know, a lot of times we refer to people as nurse because of that caring and loving nature, you know. And in years gone by, all the way back to Florence Nightingale, who's the Lady of the Lamb, nursing was something that, you know, anyone could have become a nurse. You know, you could have been a cleaner, you could have been a maid, and then you come and assist. You know, we had a number of wars around that time, and you come and you cared for people and you learn on the job, you learn doing that. So these people were nurses, you know, just in fact, and we always know that nursing is is also referred to like an angel-like profession, so I nursed her, I nursed him, I nursed my baby, so that loving and nurturing and caring for nurse.
So if I were to ask you what are the characteristics of a nurse, and I'm sure you mentioned some of them a while ago, but what are the general characteristics of a nurse?
Okay, so a nurse has to have respect for human life, empathy, love, confidentiality, loving, that type of has to be a leader, a manager, advocate, teacher, advisor, spiritual leader, all of these.
Why do I get the sense that you embody all of this?
Yeah. Let me tell you something tonight. This being a nurse thing for me has been very long in the making. Okay, from a child of 5, 6, 7 years, I wanted to be a nurse. One of the reasons for that was I always loved people and taking care of people, but I can remember my experience going to the Rolle Health Center, and I met this nurse. My mother took me to a nurse. She was a family nurse practitioner, I think, or pediatric nurse. Her name was Deanne Graham. Well, she's still alive. Deanne Graham. And I met her, and she took care of me, and already I had the love for people and for caring, and then I was like, I want to be like her.
Oh, nice.
I want, and from that day, I think I was 7 or 8 years old. From that day, everything I did, even the games I played, and I wonder if my friend Mignon is watching. She was my best friend as a child, and every time we played, I wanted to play nurse, and I had to be the nurse. I think sometimes she got upset with me because I would always.
So you wouldn't play anything else?
It's always, and she used to come every time, and the other thing,
I would stop playing with you.
I used to actually sharpen cocoa to use as my eat. Minora Paul, I'm sorry. And she used to get fed up. Oh, she fed up playing that game, not that.
I would get fed up too.
But I was a child then, so so since then, so.
But the point is though, the point you're trying to make, while we, probably find the humor in it, is that from then you knew it was in you naturally.
Yes. I really, so everything I did, including the subject I chose at school and all of that, was because I wanted to be a nurse. Now there was another profession that I also wanted to be, and that's a teacher, because I grew up in the school. My mother was a teacher.
Oh boy.
My mother taught for 36 years. And I was always in the school. So before I go to school, I was in school. I go to school, and when I return from school, I am in the school. So I spent a lot of my childhood days in school, and I enjoyed. And even because my mother was so dedicated in terms of teaching, home was also school.
Right.
So after she left the school, after early mornings and late nights, she would still take them home, like on a Saturday and stuff. Especially she was teaching common entrance class, and the ones who were slow ones, so she would give them extra lessons
at your home.
Yes. So that means I also wanted to be a teacher, but guess what? My mother said, no, not you are becoming teachers are doing it. Because it was so demanding. It was so demanding, and at that time, teachers were getting next to nothing. So she didn't want that for us, because you had to be a good teacher, you really had to invest everything. She fed some of them, she clothed them, so, my mother didn't want me to be a nurse, although that was,
she didn't want you to be a teacher.
A teacher, sorry. And then I had that loving, part of nursing and caring, and I'll tell you how I ended up in both at present.
I suspect I know. All right. So you just spoke about your mother. So let us get to know you a little bit, and then we're going to get into the other aspects of the nursing. Tonight we're at the same level of energy, so I love that. So I suspect we're just gonna have a fantastic program that's just gonna roll. All right, I just want to say good evening to Emo. I see she's tuned in. She says Emo is locked in her room. All right, Emo, thank you so much, and everybody else who is tuned in to the program, Mondi, and I just saw Barbara come on, and just shouting out a few of the folks who are actually viewing our live tonight. We thank you for tuning in. So let's talk about you. How would you describe yourself? I'm not going to ask your husband. He's actually there in the corner, and we're happy to have him here. But if you were to describe yourself, I can already tell you have an infectious personality like me. Yes. So I'm giving you one. You take the rest.
Okay. So I'm also a go-getter. I believe that anything you put your mind to, and one of my favorite quotes, I can do all things with Christ who strengthens me. So I am a go-getter. I'm also an encourager. I believe that, and what I would tell all persons, students, whatever capacity, that there is for everyone. So I can get an A, you can get an A, he can get an A. So I would like to see everyone as good as I am. You understand? And that's what brings joy to me. So yes, so I love to laugh. I can have different personalities. I can. So right now, that's my in the spotlight personality.
You're in your jovial,
yes,
but sharing mode tonight. Yes.
And I can be a very serious person.
You can be very serious.
Yes, when it comes to work and when it comes to professionalism and respect, confidentiality, and all those good ethics, I'm very serious. I take work very seriously. If you're paid, if you're employed to do a particular job, I expect you to do it. Okay, so that's the serious part of me. Okay, and if you notice, I got serious when I'm saying that.
Yes, apparently, I did notice that. In fact, yes. So let us talk about your background and from whence you came.
Okay, so I was born on the 9th of January. I'm not going to say the year. Okay, so I was born on the 9th of January to Jeanette Joseph Rolle and Claude Marie Rolle. Okay. I am the fifth or the last of the children, so I'm the last Cabaret.
But they say that normally the last ones are the spoiled ones. So were you spoiled?
Actually, maybe one of the most mature ones.
Really?
Yes.
So you were not spoiled?
No, I was not spoiled.
Well, you're not the norm.
Well, I don't think so. Yes. So I have one sister who was outside of the marriage before, and then I have two other sisters.
Girls?
Yes, and then I have two brothers.
Okay.
One passed at the tender age of 6. Okay. He had what we call non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay. That is something like a cancer. During those days, I was 3 when he died. I think that was at the time, that was the sibling I was closest to. Okay,
because you were closer in age.
Yes, not only that, but in terms of similarities and look and all of that, we were very close. So during that time, they didn't know much about that disease, so they had to fly, and he was sick very often, and they had to fly him to Barbados, and that's when they found out he had the disease, and by then it was late. So he
Do you remember that at all?
I always remember him.
At 3 years old,
yes,
you remember?
And I remember certain things about him, things he would do. Like there was something, he was ill and he could get away for a lot of things, so he was very troublesome. So there's something he used to do, run up the steps and put out his back and say, boom, boom, cackalax. So I remember that. And of course I remember him in his death when, before viewing of the dead would be at your home. So I remember him being on a white, a bed with a white sheet and stuff in our drawing room. So yes, I remember.
There's not much I remember at 3 years old at all. So it's good that you can actually remember that, but probably because it was a time that was you could say tragic, or it was a sad time. Yeah. So probably that's why you do remember what happened at such a young age in terms of your family. Tell me about the rest.
Yes, so yes, where was I? So I was sitting with my brother. Yes. So I only have one brother left. I have 2 sisters here, and that's Claudia Rolle and Joyce Rolle. And then I have a sister in St. Martin. My father, her name is Sandy Rolle, and this is the one who looks most like me, although she's just my father's child.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is it that you look more like your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Half
and half? A bit, okay.
Yes, and then my brother, Rolle.
Rolle. Okay. So you spoke about mom, and you spoke about mom being a teacher. I always like knowing about the parents, because the parents sometimes, knowing about the parents sometimes helps you understand the person.
Okay.
You know, so let us talk a bit about the parents.
Oh, my mom. I always refer to her just like mom was the Iron Lady. Okay? Although she was married when she had 5 children, my dad left to go to work out of Dominica.
Okay.
And the relationship with us, you know, became very... So he started calling every day, then every day went to a week, and then every week it went to a month, and then 2 months, and 3 months, and poof!
You're making me shiver because I am just seeing where that story is heading.
Yes, so, and then he disappeared. Of course, I was the last. So my siblings, which the one closest to me in age is Joyce, my sister, and she's about 4.5 years. So I was only 6 or 7 months old when, yes, that happened. So, you know, my mother having 5 children and also a sick boy, you know, and being a teacher, and, you know, during that time, that's the time in 70, I can't remember, you know, the teachers hardly, yes, you know, was making any money, so it was very tough. But you know what? She never gave us a bouquet.
Oh.
She never put us by anyone to ill-treat us. Okay? My mother was a very intelligent woman. You know, she could have, you know, even self-actualized so, well, I think so much more, and do all the degrees and everything, but she chose us. You know, she chose to stay and take care of her children and ensure that they would never be victim of any type of abuse, if it's verbal, physical, or mental, or all the other abuse I see. And this lady, up until this day, even if we are trying to get her to not be so motherly, you know, even your clothes she want to fix. You know, I mean, she still has her armor on to protect, like a boy.
And doing the spittle on the thumb and taking out something on the face.
And I'm sure she's listening all now.
Yes.
And because she was a teacher, she has a very strong command of English.
Right.
So if I don't speak properly, I still
you're gonna have it out with her tonight after the program.
Mignon was that? What was you know? So she was the Iron Lady, and I can say she did everything she could for us. You know, if all of us didn't end up excellent, it's because of our own doing. You know, yes. It was very hard times, and of course when we get older it got better. You know, but it was very hard. And maybe the fact that I'm a go-getter, you know, being the last, you know, not having that relationship with my father, him not being there and everything, I told myself that, you know, I'm not going to depend on anybody, I'm going to do my best, and you know how you know, so honestly, at some point my father came back, you know.
I was about to say to you, you know, I hope I'm not being too intrusive.
No, it's
by asking, you know, what eventually happened with your father.
Oh no, man. So he came back after Hurricane David, when he heard the level of devastation that happened. He came back. He took all of us. We moved to a particular country with him for a while. Of course.
Oh.
Yes.
Your mommy.
She came, but she came just for about a month. Because these people had no issues. They had no problems.
So she came back.
Yes, it was okay. He came and the country was really, you know, so he came back and he was doing well off.
Okay.
You know, and she went back with him.
The circumstances.
Yes. She only stayed about a month, to be honest.
Okay.
Because they were asking for teachers and professionals and so to come back, you know, to start rebuilding the country and get the schools back on board and stuff. So she maybe just stayed about a month, but we stayed about a year. Okay? So we stayed about a year with him, and then he brought us back home when things were, you know, about a year. And then he disappeared again.
Oh my goodness me.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So, and when I did see him again, I was actually 15 years old. One day a call came, and you know the story. Hi, this is your dad. I said, well, I don't have a dad, you know. But
you said that to
yes,
him?
Yes, I did. I am very, as I tell you,
direct.
Yeah. You know, if you if there's anything happening, if you're doing something wrong, I need to tell you about it, or you hurt me, or I will tell you. And after that, I'm done. I don't keep grudges.
Okay.
That means if you keep a grudge, then your blessings don't flow.
Oh.
And I'm very blessed.
All
so
right.
you know I
That's
don't
something
do
to
it.
remember.
Yes. Okay, so it prevents your blessings from coming in. So I'm always the sharp mouth, you know, I tell him straight, you know, and he came back for a while again. And
He
of
came
course-
back home for a while again?
Yes, he came home just for a few months. On
Your
his
mother
leave.
is an angel.
No, not at my mother's
Oh.
home. He came home, meaning Dominica.
Okay.
So he came to
Lillian, let's clear that. So
yes,
because
not
I was-
at my mother's home.
Yes.
So he came back and he came to do business and stuff and you know whatever, and then he went back and he kept in communication,
Okay.
talking whatever.
What is the relationship
And
like
then
now?
He was gone again.
Give off.
And the next time I saw him, I was like 28 years old.
Wow.
When he came back again. This time when he came back, he stayed.
He stayed.
Yes, he stayed, but he has since passed.
Oh, he has since
Yes,
passed.
he has
Okay.
since passed.
All right.
And although I try to, because I'm that kind of person,
Mhm.
you know, to try to get everybody. I mean, I do not hate him, my
Mhm.
dad.
You
I
should
am
not.
who I am because of what he did.
Yes.
It made me stronger, the challenges, lessons learned, you know, all of that. So I always tell him, you know, I do not hate you, nor can I say you're my dad and that loving thing.
Wow.
You're just a normal man. You know, but the same level of respect, because I do respect everyone.
Mhm.
I know, so.
What about your siblings? What approach did your siblings take to him?
Well, I think I was more, except for my brother, was I'm still very close to him.
He's a
because-
boy.
Yes, and not that alone. After he took us home, the girls home, after Hurricane David, he kept my brother for some years. Yes, until one day he just brought him back. But he kept my brother for some years. So they had their, you know, and he's also, you know, a male figure who needed that in his life. So he had a better relationship with him. My sister was a little, you know, but I was more trying to get everybody to connect, and because I had my nephews and so to get to know their grandfather and you know that kind of way. But it's my mother.
Yes, that's the rock.
Yes.
Is a superstar.
Whoop. She
Tell
is.
me about growing up with her.
Oh, my mother. She's a teacher. She was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that blows thing. That
You got
seriousness.
beaten.
Not a lot. You know
Okay.
I got not a lot. But you know
You were quick to say that.
no, I didn't get a lot of blows. I did not get a lot of blows. Why? Because I was a good child.
Okay.
You know, I was a good child. But you know, the same reason I'm a nurse today, that's kind of why I got the blues. So I would go and I would play in the ghetto. So that's where I'd go and make my friends. The children I think that need me to help them, to be with them, that is where I'd go. So, you know, my mom, you know, that's a risky area, you know, but the people were fine, you know, my brother used to frequent around, so nobody, but even my brother used to chase me and beat me if I go there, because quite of concern for me as well, you know, so that's the only reason I got blues.
We didn't talk about what area you were from.
Oh, so I grew up in Newtown initially.
All right. What part of Newtown?
I don't know if people know Mr. Matthew's shop. That's where the bridge is, the ravine is. Yes. Next to where
On the main road?
I think Earl
Yes,
is right
absolutely,
there. So
yes.
house right opposite
Yes,
there. So
yes.
that's where I was. I went to Miss Sally's school, and Miss Sally's school was downstairs of the Fatima Church.
Okay.
When I was about 6 years, about that, we moved and we went into Libla Lane.
Okay.
Now Libla Lane had this area just to the back, around where Doha School has now like a lot, and there was called Crapo City. So that was like a little ghetto area, Crapo City. So that's where I used to go and play.
You see that like you like that. That's why I used to go.
Yes, I mean I got blows, I told you, just because of that. Sometimes I'd go in the morning and lunchtime I'm not back because I'm enjoying myself, and they're having the best food with my little fig and oil and pepper on it, and just I like local stuff. So, you know, that is what I loved. You know, and my mom, you know, she being a teacher and she doing risk and whatever, and of course, you know, in the ghetto we have like a ganja smoking and things happening there. So she don't want me exposed. I never smoked. But she
Thank you for clarifying that.
I know. No, I'm so just saying, the other thing I like being real.
Yes, okay.
Okay, I like being honest. That's what it is. So you know all of that.
But
so,
you inhaled.
Yes, I really.
You didn't have no choice.
Yes,
Because you're right there in the environment.
You know, and I had some good friends there. I mean, you know, girlfriends. You know, and we do a lot of creative stuff. Unlike the children in the lane. You know, stocky.
So she was, mom was strict. You would get a little bit in here
just
and
because
there.
of that.
I think you mentioned earlier on her approach to your education.
Yes, she was very serious about it. As I said, she was a teacher. She used to teach the common entrance class, so she would have children there at all times. I think maybe by the age, maybe grade 4, grade 5, I could have sat common entrance. I knew all the
You were ready.
Yes, because all of my sisters.
So I hope you got a scholarship.
Yes, yes, I did. So all of my siblings and so my sister got a scholarship. Yeah, so I was already doing the work, helping the work, telling the children the answers, that kind of thing. So she really wanted us to get a good education, because she understood that although it was hard for her, but because she was a teacher, she was able to manage with us.
What about in terms of social development and in terms of teaching you household chores, what it is to be a young lady and that kind of thing?
I was very lazy.
Oh my goodness.
I did not, at that age, I did not like housework.
But most of us at that age don't like housework.
The only thing I liked to do was cook. And that, well, she worked in that area very well. She understood that I like to cook because I like to eat.
You see that? Let me tell you. So listen, we're gonna bond on this.
So she I liked food, especially meats. So
okay,
she would pull me in the kitchen, when she's cooking and teach me to do stuff. So at a very young age, I could cook. I could never be hungry.
You could never be hungry.
No. So even when I was 5, 6, and living in Newtown, the bay was right behind us, and all the fisher foods. And every time the boats come in, all the fishermen knew me, and I'd get my loot, and I would go and I would cook it. Or I'd roast the fish or cook the fish. So since then I know.
You knew what to do.
Yes.
And I'm happy to hear you say that you love to. I'm saying it under my breath because I put it on social. I love food, and there's nothing wrong in loving food. And everybody, don't worry them, most of them love food too.
I love food, and I love meat more.
And I love to cook as well.
Yes.
So that is something we definitely have in common. I love to cook as well, and I just don't like doing the other things.
Okay.
I mean, I can do it all. I always say that I can do it. I can cook, I can clean, I can iron, I can do all of that.
Yes, me too.
But I could cook and come and do the dishes, clean the house, do all the rest of the house chores. I ain't having it, but sometimes you don't have a choice, you have to do it. Yes. So it's nice to kind of hear you say that and to say it so comfortably.
Yeah, I love food, and I keep saying I love meat.
When
I was small, when my mother would give us her food, she had better give me the biggest meat. Yes. Because I look at all my, I say, oh, that's bigger than mine.
No.
Yes. Okay, I was a child.
Yes, you were a child.
I still love meat, and of course I eat it in portion. I'm very, because of course I struggled through the years with obesity.
But you've trimmed down nicely.
Yes.
So that's nice.
Yes,
You'll have to give me a little recipe. Anyway, moving along. So I think we get an understanding of what your household was like and what life was like growing up for you. Let us talk about your education. Where did you get educated?
Of course. Well, I went to 2 primary schools. I went to St. Martin Primary and I went to Goodwill Primary. So I went up to grade 6, grade 5 or grade 6 in Goodwill Primary. That time we had standard 7 as well. So I went the 6 and 7 or some of 6 and 7 at Goodwill Primary School. That was due to because, how do I say this? You see that timid thing about me? I used to get beaten a lot.
Oh, you
I
were
was
bullied
and I was beaten and I was...
My.
And when I started going to St. Martin School, remember we were living at Newtown, and also my sister Joyce was still going to St. Martin School. So of course it was a protection for me and all of that, and also close proximity to school and home. But then when we moved to Liblaling, then I had to walk home from St. Martin School all the way down to, and then I was being bullied.
Right.
So my mom couldn't
What would they
take it
tease you
anymore.
about?
Everything, you know, Rolle make things with my name, and you know, and they would do me stuff, and I'd never tell the teacher, and I'd just take it.
Yeah, because you would be, I guess, you know, you would be afraid of even getting further bullied.
Yes,
More
you know.
bullied.
But it's not that I was soft. You know, I could have been a terror. It's just that I didn't feel nice to hit back, or you know. So now I tell myself, girl, you were stupid. You know, but I just say, no, if I hit her, it's going to hurt her, she's going to cry, you know, that kind of way. So people would hit me, they'd pull my, take my recess, do my ribbons, follow me from school, you know, and I would say nothing and I would do nothing. I can remember in one time, I don't know why I reacted, I maybe just was overloaded, and I mean, I flew on that girl and I scratched her up and everything, and I was so sad after.
Oh.
I mean, the rest of the students, although they were bullying me all the time, took that girl's hand and carried it to my sister, who was in grade 6 at the time. And she said to them, come out in front of me all the time, while you seen her. First time she hit back, come out. You know, but I felt so sad. You know, and I said, I would never
You were
hit back
defending
again.
yourself?
Yeah, but that's how you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I said I would never do it again.
Okay.
You know, hit back again. And then, so my mom moved me, and because she was now, we were now living down at Libla Lane, and then if you know Libla Lane and Goodwill School, it's very close.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So I went to Goodwill School, and I think a lot changed from there. For one, I met up with a group of young ladies, and they were terrors, my kind of ladies. So I changed. I became, you know, no nonsense. If you hit me, I'll definitely hit you back, that kind of thing. And to the point that they wanted to go back, leave Goodwill School and go to St. Mary's School and fight back all of the girls who fought with me. You know, I mean, we ended up maybe doing that for 2 of them. Sorry, mommy, you don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so I had this friend.
So you became a little Taliban?
Not really, just those that had it, you know, just 2 of them. And then one of them, when we went after her and then we hit her, I felt so bad. I said, we're not doing it anymore. Okay, I'm being honest. Donia, you were the lead in the crew, remember? So, yes, so, you know, so I met some real cool girls.
Yes,
you know, they were not bad in terms of.
But you needed friends like that. I'm sorry to say it that way.
They had me like a nice. What, they used to hit you know, that kind of way. So just 2 of them. The others we never you know.
You didn't go back after the others.
No. Just 2.
You agreed.
After the second one, I felt very sorry. You know, and I said no, that's not right.
Because you still have a heart.
Yes, I said it's not right. So, you know, most of the students who you know, beat me and stuff. Through my lifetime, I've dealt with them as a nurse and take very good care of them.
Be very professional.
Yes, some of them were very surprised and even came back to say, you know, Shillingford, I thought you would have treated me different. I said, why? You know, why? So yes. So that
and I mean, you mentioned earlier your seriousness and your professionalism. So I think that would come into play when you come to treat your patients, no matter who it is. And I'm sure that's something that you're taught in you know, in as part of your profession and your training. You know, so well, that's interesting.
Yes. I mean, and the one that came, she was really bad with it. You know, she was one of those who picked on me the most. You know, and I could see when she came into the emergency room, you know, she was a little, you know, and I really made her feel like a queen.
So it was you.
Yeah, she was
like, oh my goodness.
And she felt I treated her excellent.
You know, some people will probably go as far as asking for
somebody else
or something, right?
Yeah.
But at least she gave you the opportunity to see,
of course,
I guess, you know. And you proved to be the bigger person in all of this, you know, and you proved to be, I guess, the true professional that you are.
And I always say to my nurse colleagues, you know, being a nurse is a privilege. It is a privilege. You know, it's not like, you know, you are doing people a favor. You understand? Those of us who get to care and know the person's secrets and ins and outs and all of that, you know, it is a privilege. Don't do like people waiting on you and dependent on you. You know, that kind of thing. You know, be happy that you are able to serve and to, you know, so yeah. So from there I went to our
before you continue, there is before it goes up and it disappears and I don't get to tell you. There is an officer who is, I guess, tuned in, Gary Benjamin. He says your favorite officer. Tell us, I said hi, a favorite officer. So just sharing. Yes, and from there,
I went to our alma mater.
oh, you're.
I am an old girl of the DGS.
All right.
And I actually graduated from grammar school when we were at 100.
Okay.
100 years of celebration.
Okay.
And that was in 1993.
1993. So you
Yes.
were 2 years after me.
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
you. I remember you in grammar
Okay.
school.
Alright.
I mean, I was very shy and quiet, so you did not have known me.
No.
Yeah, but I played netball. I was
Okay.
a netballer, and I threw discus, javelin, and shot put. I did very well in my time. Yes, so I was in that athletics thing.
Discus, javelin, and shot put. Aren't those sports that require strength?
Yes, of course. So if I was big and I was strong.
You were strong.
You know, so I know you remember Saki, who was the coach at grammar school.
Of
at the time.
course. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Yes, and of course he said, you have to use the
I
iron.
remember
You
him.
can do this or whatever. So I can remember one time there was sports day, I mean the school inter-schools,
Mm-hmm.
and as I tell you, I was already on the netball team and stuff, and he said, we don't have anybody to throw. You want to do it? Try it. You know, and I remember I got silver in shot put, javelin, and discus.
Really?
And from that, he was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so that's,
Not
apart
me,
from the
no.
netball.
Don't come and ask me none of that.
Yes, and I remember Mr. Lovelock too. You know, he used to come and train us in the afternoon and stuff. Yes.
So you did athletics. Anything else that you did at grammar school?
Yes, I was in the drama club. I was in the singing club with Jerry Lloyd. You know, and choir and the rample and.
I'm trying to think. You know, what did I do in grammar school?
Yeah.
I wasn't in sports. I probably did one or two of the cross country. I remember doing that. I remember being in what house were you in? You were in Dominic. I was in BJ. I don't really remember doing anything to contribute to BJ. I remember being in Mr. Francis drama class, but to me that was part of your part of the curriculum. You had to be drama. To me was a subject or something at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I was in drama, I was in key club, I was in sports, I was in, you know, and some of my colleagues are like Kamala, John Baptiste, and Giselle Francis, and Brian, Pascal, and these were my classmates, my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn Favorite of
That is
Favorite,
correct.
Trigo.
She's watching.
Yes. You know, so these were my colleagues, my classmates.
Yeah,
you know,
so
at
we
school.
were in fact 2 years ahead of you all.
Yes,
We were 2
yes.
years ahead of you all.
So, and you know, we were a force to be reckoned with.
I
like you.
remember now. I mean, it's all coming to me now.
Yes,
It's all
yes.
coming to me
We
now.
were a troublesome group. We were
Yes.
very vocal. And,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, at that time,
You
Mr.
see what those
Wilson,
children are thinking to you at Goodwill
Yeah.
Primary.
Mhm. I was a good girl, you know, but I was very vocal
Yes.
and no nonsense. That's the type of, yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know, Mr. Wilson, Felix Wilson was the principal at that time.
Mhm.
Of course, we couldn't wait for us to leave
Mhm.
that year. 5-1 to 5-4. We gave him a run. Right, Mr. Wilson? But I was one of his good.
You were one of his good students.
Yes,
yes,
one
yes.
of his good students.
So the grammar school days were wonderful days.
Yes, they were wonderful days. Days of going to cross country
Mhm.
and never returning back, but we would have had our wings and our flour and our bananas on our backs. So when we, you know, it had a point you always had to crush Elmsall area. We branch out and come down back and we cook a pot. Yes,
Could you do that?
we did it.
Didn't you have to account for your return?
I would have given a lot of points to my house already doing the netball and the
Okay.
other events.
Okay.
Just like a number of the other of my colleagues.
Mhm, mhm.
So we could have done that.
Okay, all right.
So we would cook and we would, you know, yeah.
What subjects did you do though in
So I
grammar
did
school?
the sciences, I did
Sciences.
biology, chemistry, and physics,
Mhm.
social studies, Spanish, English, and maths.
Okay.
Yes, so these are the subjects I did. So yes, from there, I was too young to become a nurse. So they said you could only become a nurse from 18 years. I mean, now I think that has changed because I thought it's now collegiate, college type.
Mhm.
So when I applied, I had the interview and everything, and they told me, well, you know, you were too young to become a nurse and stuff, which was heartbreaking. 'Cause I was
Can
already-
imagine.
So what I did, I went into a business. So I had a store with my now husband. We were like 16, 17
Oh,
years old.
we're going to talk about him in a while.
Yes, at that time, you know, we had big ideas. Very much young persons, not involved with any sexual act at that time.
And
Although
are
we
you
were
starting
16, 17.
business?
Yes.
Okay, talk
Yes.
to us.
Okay, so we had a store in the mall, you know, in the Woodstone Mall. Of course, we went to credit union to get a loan, and of course, they said we were underage and whatever, and then I had to get my mother to come in and whatever. But we did that, and it was doing well until the store was broken in like twice. So that we just give up on that, you know, that type of way, because you just felt like one, Joe would have gotten himself in problem, you know, because we found the perpetrators both times. No, one time, and then it was the guard who will get the guard. So we just decided, you know, and among other stuff, and let us cut our losses while we're on top, and we did where we are paid off for.
Okay, good. I was about to ask you that
yes.
affected, you know.
No, we did well. So the last time I remember, we had just gone out. We were traveling to go and shop and come back. I or Joe would have gone. And then the person, the same bag we used to shop, we came back, they packed that, and once we paid, it was just the weekend of Carnival.
So they came to do their shopping?
Yes. So, you know, so by that time, after that, I moved to Antigua, you know, for a while, because my grandmother, grandparents, great-grand were Antiguans, like my mother's side. So we moved over there because my older siblings, everybody more or less was there. So I said, when I went to Antigua, they said that I would be able to do nursing at my age before, so I was beginning to, and then they called me from
Dominica?
Yes, because they would have started a group in March or sometime like that, and I would have just turned 18, so I just came back and started my nursing.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And we're going to come back. Before we get into all of that, we have to talk about this, because you kind of led us into it a bit, you know, because if at age 16 you could be in a solid relationship enough to open up a business, I'm sure there's quite a story there.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. We're just taking a quick short break, and we are going to come right back. Okay, Joe, we okay over there? We're okay over there. It is 4 minutes already past the hour of 9 o'clock. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. Lorna, no, this is not a repeat. This is a live show that we're doing tonight. And we thank you for tuning in, and we thank everybody else for tuning in. We're coming right back in just a moment. Keep it locked right here.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio. Every Monday night.
We still live, eh? We still live on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Amazing energy like myself. I like the fact that you are so open and you're very real about sharing. And these are the types of things that I like, you know, when people come on the program. And it's not about putting your business outside, because I do not think this is about putting any business outside or anything. I'm sure you know what to keep, you know, private and so on.
Spotlight interesting topics, issues, and
Oh yeah, that. But either you can turn off the studio lights, because Maggie lights up when one we budget condition is going up. Okay, Maggie lights up when she speaks about
Issues intriguing and entertaining. Let's listen to In the Spotlight.
Well, after all this time, you must light up with toujours.
Actually, not behave.
And he's right there in the studios, which means that she's quite fine.
Yep.
Theme song always starts off. I remember this young lady from DGS, interesting discourse. Time flies by so quickly on this program. Again, good evening to you if you're just tuning into the program. We are actually live tonight. A viewer was just asking if this is a repeat program. No, it's not. We're live in studios. Actually, coming off from Nurses Week, you know, I thought it would be nice to do someone who is in the nursing business, and we can get to talk about nursing, but to hear the story of someone who is actually in that profession. And I'm so happy that I have this lady here tonight. I think she's quite awesome in my view. And I'm entitled to say that as the host. And you're entitled to share as well. Good night to you, Glenda, Marlon, Lorna. Yes, very niceness indeed. I'm not sure she's ever treated me, but the person I know her to be a very warm individual. And we are back with nurse, we can say, well, I see a couple of people calling her Maggie. Miggy. We call her Mignon. But she said it's really Mignon. So, you know, whichever way we want to take it, we'll take it tonight. All right? Nurse Elvina Ren. I think Nurse Elvina is a nurse too, right?
Yes, we train together.
Yes.
96 to 98, class 8. Best group ever.
Best group ever.
Yeah.
All right. So before we took the short break, you had started talking about your husband, and you started lighting up already talking about him, and they just told us to shut off the lights in the studio because you shine up so much when you're talking about him. Let us talk about how this started.
Okay, so from Little Lane area, this is Goodwill. I think in 1989, we moved to Stoffa, Simon Bolivar. There we had a new housing development. I think Mamu was the one, then Virginia Charles was the one who did these houses for public officers between a particular bracket. So my mom got one of these houses, at Stock Farm. So we moved to there, and that's where I was a very tomboyish, when I moved there.
Really?
Yes, I was very tomboyish, and in my dress I had like pants and that kind of thing. Had a hair skirt. I still had my little plaits. I had my hair natural, I still had my little plaits and stuff. And then I saw this young man. I mean, I was about 13, 14. And honestly, when I said that is going to be my husband.
Oh.
Yeah. I said that was going to be my husband.
Where did you see him?
On the playing field.
He was,
so he was living a lane from me.
Okay.
Okay, so I was living in one lane, he was living in the other lane. And both of us were living more or less to the end of our lanes. And then next to his lane or to his house was a savannah. And that's where all the young persons, in Simon Bolivar, would congregate. We play games and we have football and around us, girls against boys, that kind of thing. Real childhood happiness. And I saw him and I was like, oh, that's my husband. I mean, it was just...
You just thought that
yeah,
automatically?
I just liked him. I just like his mannerism and everything, and I like his looks. And right away, I started putting fringe in front of my hair. By that time, I'm like 14, stealing my sister perm and pulling the little, just to make a little cut. I mean, I don't want to look boyish anymore. Right, I didn't want to look like a boyish anymore. I wanted to look like a little girl. So I started putting my sister, and I got into a lot of trouble with my sister Joyce for touching her things. So if I was 14, she like 17, 18, and I started putting fringe and stuff, and and it so happened that he saw me.
Was he noticing?
He liked me too.
Oh.
But I didn't know.
Okay.
Until there was a little quick boy, in our group, I'm coming this little quick young boy. It sells out everybody business and tells, so he went to Joe because I told him I liked Joe.
Okay.
I mean, you
were 13, 14?
Yeah, but let's say 14. I was 14.
14.
So he went to Joe and he told him I liked him.
Okay.
I did not know. And then when he told him that, most likely he liked me too. So there was, apart from the savannah, there was very huge guava field. So it had a lot of guavas and mangoes. If anybody knew Stock Farm before, it was filled with a number of guava trees and plums and mangoes. So one time a friend of mine and I were in the guava field picking guava, and here we see two young men approaching on the opposite side. Could I say how you told?
We're holding nothing back. All right.
Well, so Joe was one of those.
Yes.
The
I'm
guy.
loving this.
And then he came up to me and he said, you sing like me. I mean, he braved up to come to do it, but he was still kind of, afraid. I mean, I didn't know what to say. I mean, I said, me?
You denied it?
Yeah, of course.
No way.
Yes.
After going through all the trouble to put the fringe and all of that?
Yes. So yes, I said no, I didn't say that. I said what I said was that you look nice. So that was the beginning of and then
I don't believe you denied it.
Yes, I did. And I said
after going through all the trouble, trying to turn from a tomboy to a girl.
Yes.
For Joe.
Yes.
And then you telling Joe when he come and tell you, you say you like me, you say it is not true.
Not that I said you look nice. So he was okay with that.
Okay.
And from there started, I mean, the most amazing relationship ever. And we continue like that, just building. He is literally my best friend.
Mm-hmm. You became friends first.
Oh yes, we were inseparable. I could say that. We did everything together. We went out in the night for the first time together. We went to a social together. We took each other virgin.
Yes.
Yes. We did everything together.
Wow.
And a lot of people, of course, watching on the outside, because we were so tight, very young, 14, 15.
It wouldn't work.
No, not that.
They
They
thought it
were
would
thinking
work.
like we were maybe involved in other things and stuff, but that was their business.
Okay.
He was brought up better and I was
Yes.
brought up better.
Yes.
We know that. But we
I
just did
love
stuff.
this.
We were in the same year, we studied together, we sat CXC together. When we went out, around that time we had the combined student nurses association and they would be having like socials and stuff. His parents took us to the social, when we went out for the first time. Graduation, they took us to Layu. That's where we used to have it before.
Yes, that's where I went to mine.
Yes, so they took us to Layu. They came and picked us up at 1 a.m. in the morning, dropped us at warehouse and came and pick us up at 5, 6 o'clock. You see?
Wow.
Right, so we didn't have to hide to do anything. No need to. A lot of times when you do not respect your children and you do not trust them, they put themselves in position where things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, if we were not allowed to be together and talk and spend time, we would find ourselves in the bush. And in the bush is dark.
Yes.
And in the bush is warm and cozy.
Yes.
And then we'd rub and touch. But we didn't have to do that. I could go to his house. I'm the last child. He was the first.
Okay.
I got the siblings I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they are Wayne Shillingford, Sheldon Shillingford, and Troy Shillingford. And it's not in-laws, they are my brothers. Okay? So I got the siblings I always wanted. So we were home with them, helping homework, playing games, whatever. To the point his dad, when he's passing, going down to school, all of them, I get a right to go down to school. And a lot of people thought they were my brothers. So they thought he was my brother. So girls would come and make break. Tell me to set them up my. So I kind of knew my competition of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
This
So
is
enjoying it.
This
Yes,
is
yes.
lovely though.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, so-
and somebody typed that you actually speaking the truth. Somebody
Yes.
said she's speaking the truth.
I mean, it's known. I mean, there are friends that people we went to school together. Dr. Favory is one, and they would say we married since high school.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, and I say thank God because you always have to put God at the center of everything. If it's not for Him, there would not be us. So we went through that phase. We did everything together. I went to do my nursing. He was there with me. When I had to go back 3 o'clock in the morning to try to get skills, whatever, he would take me, he'd drop me, he'd wait in his little bus his father had him driving until I'm done. And he would drop my colleagues out too and everything.
You have me shivering literally.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
serious.
yes. So we have been married for 19 years.
19 years.
Yes. Well, this year September will give us 19 years.
Wow.
And-
Congratulations.
And I'm sure you would agree that's the best 19 years of our lives.
Wow. Would you, Joe, just give me a nod of the head? And he gave me a thumbs up too.
So I've never had a cobos, and
Thank God.
I've never had a cobos. So that's a real man, right?
That's
there.
a real man. That's the man right there.
Yes, that's
That's
real
what you
man.
call relationship goals.
Yes.
You know?
So you see, people, it's possible. I mean, yes, I know certain things may happen and whatever, that you may not find your real partner at the first try and so, but the possibility of knowing somebody and falling in love with them and them being your best friend, and then what we did, we mold each other into what we wanted in a relationship, the type of person. And because we were young still, then there were no outside, no past experiences and things like that would have come in that would have affected the future.
So you learned from each other.
Yes. So what I did not like, and I'm not saying when we are young we had all our little issues, what I did not like, what frustrates him, what frustrates me, but we worked on it because we know we wanted to be with each other. Can I share, Joe, about the falling star? Okay. So I will share that. But I'm just saying, and the fact that he, everything just,
yes.
And I'll keep on saying that God has to be in the center, of your relationship.
And everything.
Because he giveth, and he taketh away.
What about family? Do you already have children?
No, we do not have children.
Oh.
We do not have children, but we have a lot of lovely nieces and nephews.
Yes.
And we are the best auntie and uncle ever.
Okay, awesome.
I did have my nephew, which we brought up, from, he was young, about 3 years old. He's now in Cuba studying, the young man. I think he's listening, so, everything and for everything. Give thanks.
Yes, I agree with that. So this is a beautiful relationship. You are happy, and you're still very much in love with your husband. I can tell. I see you all, out at places. Sometimes I see your photos on social media and so on. And I always say to myself, there's something about that. I didn't know your story. This is the first time hearing your story. All I know is I always see you guys, and I always think to myself that something about this couple looks very genuine and looks very real, and these two people look like they really adore each other.
Thank you.
And I'm seriously saying that, and there may be other people who are listening to the program or probably viewing and saying the very same thing. So like you said, in everything give thanks. So I'm sure every day you continue to give thanks for him, and I suspect he does the same. And you're 19 years together, like you said.
Married.
You're 19 years married.
Yes.
That is true, because it was the crush started from 13 years old. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's a long time. But while we're on this, this program is always about, inspiring others, and I am sure you've done that so far in the program. It's about learning as well. And you mentioned that you may not get it at the first shot, you may not even get it at the second, I could probably say I've not gotten it as yet, but I still believe I'll get it, at some point in time. But in terms of your marriage and your relationship, what has been this rock? What has been this things that have made your relationship work so well so far? If you were to give advice, especially to probably young couples, just starting off, maybe couples who are married and probably going through some struggles, how do you survive it?
Okay, so first thing I want to say, we haven't reached the next part yet.
That's all right.
Okay.
We're getting there. It's all about that.
So one of the first things, of course, it's a relationship between me and him. Not my mother, not my sister, not his sister, not even the pastor or the priest. It's between me and him. So we keep things between me and him. Okay, we try to not to listen to other people, what they say. We don't share things. If something is going on, we discuss it among each other. And over time, we have strengthened significantly. The two actually became one. Okay, so we discuss everything. We talk about everything. So that's the communication part and the understanding that there's only two people in this relationship. Okay, no one else. The other thing is that God, as I tell you, you really have to always remember that, God integral in everything. And for persons who may not believe, let's say, in Jesus Christ or Jehovah, there is Haile Selassie, there's Buddha. We must believe in a higher power, and it's significant. It strengthens you. Whoever you believe, being that there's a superhuman being that can motivate you and inspire you, that's significant. Also, over the years, we have grown love every day. I mean, maybe 10 years back, you know, when we were 10 years married, I didn't believe I could love Joe more. You know, I didn't, you know, I love him so much, you know, and now 19 years later, it's so much more. It's a different kind of love, you know. So of course it has the sexual and emotional love, but it has the protective love, it has the best friend love. So much so that maybe if things don't work out between us, just say, God forbid, don't ever say that. Wow. But I'm just saying, I don't want to lose him as my best friend. You understand? So if we may not be romantically, but you know that party play, you know, my best friend.
That's not gonna happen.
No, I'm just saying. You know,
clearly we can tell that ain't gonna happen.
You know, I can talk about anything. You can be yourself. You can. You understand?
I can tell because he's sitting right there in the studio.
Yeah.
And somebody else would have said, "Get out!" You know, we can base the fact that he's sitting right here and we're having this program. You're not intimidated by his presence. He's not really bothered by you. He's just sitting there and he's listening to you, and I guess with admiration too. But that in itself is, you know, tells of the solid relationship that you have.
Yes.
And I think that is awesome. Seriously, that is awesome.
Amen. And then you love people and you choose to be with them for the right reasons. Not because you have been with them for how long. Not because you have a child together. Not because the person is secure, I mean financially secure. Not because your family like them. And not because you're in church and you don't want to have sex and to say yes to sex, you have to get married or stay with somebody. Be with the person because they're somebody you love. Be with them because if tomorrow they are in an MVA and they are paralyzed, it's still the man or woman that you want to be with. You understand? So genuinely really love the person. You know, it's simple. You understand?
Let me tell him a secret. They're asking to see him. I would say, oh, that one makes him run. But I'll tell you, he's a fine-looking young man.
Trust me, they have seen him.
They have seen. I'm sure you all know. Well, not everybody, I suspect, because the person who asked, I suspect maybe they don't know.
Okay.
But it's about Miggy tonight.
It's about moi.
Yes, it's about Miggy.
Yeah.
We talk about Joe a bit, you know, but it's about Miggy. So we're going to continue. So we're going to get into the lesson bit. One bit, I realized that you reference God quite a bit. What religion do you practice?
Okay, so I'm Methodist and my husband is Catholic. Okay, so but we go to
How
Methodist.
does this work?
Simple. There's one God. You believe in God and you know what is the fruits of His Spirit and what you should do and the life you must lead. And of course,
this is my second guest, I think. Mrs. Levy was the same.
Okay, and then sometimes we go to Protestant churches. Sometimes when we want a little more, we go to like Pastor Hill Church.
Okay.
Sometimes we go to People's Pentecostal Church because we want more.
So you all go to you go to Catholic sometimes?
Yeah, we go Methodist sometimes.
You go Methodist sometimes, and then sometimes you go to...
But we got married in Methodist.
You got married in Methodist Church.
Yeah.
I always wonder how that works out, you know, with those couples who...
Methodist and Catholic is more, it's quite similar.
I was told, yes.
And one time, as I talk about Methodist and church, I just want to bring up our Reverend William Watty, who did our marriage ceremony 19 years ago. And one of the first things he said, because he did our little counseling and everything before, he said at the service, Joe, our congregation, I know this. If Mignon and Joe were at the top of the mountain and something would have happened, an explosion, and Mignon would have gone one side and Joe would have gone the other, they would find each other.
Wow.
And he said that's one of the times, you know, based on his counseling, he is sure. Okay, so Reverend Watty, we still think of you all the time.
He's been here. He's actually been on the program, and he was a joy to have on the program as well. So listen, I mean, this is really beautiful. I'm really enjoying this program tonight, and I think I'm enjoying it more because you keep it so real. I really love that about you, and I thank your husband for allowing you to be yourself as well on the program and sharing with us. We really do appreciate it, and I always say, you know, there is always something to learn on this program from the guests, and I think there's a lot to learn from you, and your marriage as well, in terms of your life story. Thank you. So, oh boy, to think we came here to talk about nursing. We spoke about it a bit, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it a bit. A quick break. We're just going to take a break to allow us to segue into this lady's profession, which I am, from what I'm learning, you know, she seems to have made quite an impact in that field as well. Keep it locked, so we're coming back.
Monday nights from 8 p.m. in the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of life, spotlighting triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations.
My friend Mignon just said, I'm locked in.
I feel like everybody's locked in.
Politics, religion, sports,
Nobody's
business, music, culture, the media, and more.
I really
Get
love
it
it.
to know
It's actually making me feel like, oh my goodness.
And
Like it's a long time friend just coming to us.
listen to their stories.
I don't start talking about my students, my past students, and how I love them, and how they're waiting to hear.
Interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95
Thank you, Lorna.
Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
You look at Joe Malone, your classmate. I remember those days, Malone. His class, his schoolmates.
I can't help but read this. Somebody says, don't have too many other ladies as this nurse in today's. Oh my goodness. Yes, okay, we're back. We're back on the In the Spotlight radio show with Nurse Miggy, Nurse Mignon. Well, we know Mignon, so we'll probably stick to Mignon, right? That's what we know. So we're going to talk about nursing, and I suspect we have quite a bit to talk about within that space. So you went on to study to become a nurse,
Yes.
but you were called back.
Yes.
And so take us through this aspect of the journey.
Okay, so of course I started nursing as a nursing student in 1996 and completed in 1999. So that was 3 years. Okay, we were called Class 8. There were 30 of us, and 29 of us completed. Of course, again, we were told that we were the worst group of nursing students ever, but we ended up being one of the best. Okay, it's just that I guess any group I end up in, we are very vocal, outspoken, whatever, but we also became some of the most skilled nurses and qualified nurses. So some have since migrated to other countries, and some of us have stayed here and be pioneers, you know, in the nursing field. And one time, those of us who stayed, like Juliet Bless and Bernadette Austri and Livia Casey and Tima Peel and Julia Libla, you know, and Federica Seraphine, Laurie James, you know, these are the ones who stayed back, you know, and be very good nurses. A number of us have gone on to go as high as master's level in nursing in different areas. So, yeah, you know, I just want to pick them up one time class.
That's nice.
Beverly Fontaine, you know, Beverly is a lecturer at State College at present. So yes, so I did that, and then for a very long time, I worked in all wards of the Princess Margaret Hospital. But then the most time I spent was in the accident and emergency department, and that was my love.
You love being there.
I loved being there. I see Joe fixing his face because sometimes he used to tell me that was my father's. If I thought it was my father's stage, because I never want to leave. I will always be there. And if I'm leaving and I'm on my back and I'm in the vehicle and something comes in, an emergency comes, you bet I will put it down and go back in. Okay, so I love nursing, I love blood. I really love blood. I love to prick. I love to stitch, which is called suturing. And I think I worked in casualty for maybe like 8 or 9 years. I worked every carnival Monday and Tuesday. And I had to work in prime time, meaning when it would have the most action. So I would work I would work the Monday morning, and then I would work a special shift on the Tuesday, which is we call the last lap, 3 to 11 p.m. Because for some reason...
And you would ask for that shift?
Of course. For some reason, during that last lap, on 3 to 11, that's when all the fights, everything would take place. Of course, my colleagues needed me the most then. And of course, I got my own high. I'm being honest.
You are.
I got my own high from, you know, when those guys felt like the misbehaving would have been stress for me, I loved it. You know, I would assign myself to the dressing room. And I'd be next.
You see my face, right?
I'll be next.
And that's for you, like drinking a glass of water.
Yes, I enjoyed it. You know, I was very skilled. You know, especially in setting up of IVs and whatever. They used to call me vampire. You know, yes. You know, taking blood from children, any age, anybody. I would get the vein. Yes, I'd get the vein.
But are you a pricker? Like, do you or do you work with us to find the vein?
No. One shot. I'm a one-shot girl. One shot. You know, I was very skilled, as I tell you, and if in terms of my my suturing, you know, when I have to put back a head together, eyelid or so, above the, you know, I take pride and, you know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed suturing. I enjoyed the blood.
You were born for this.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
I love it. I love it. You know, and a lot of times
I could never do this.
because of where I am now. You know, people who know me, like some of the doctors I work with, Dr. Desho say, well, you know, Dr. Desho, you know, Dr. Monroe. They ask me, how you feeling? You enjoying yourself where you are there? Because they knew. You know,
that was your love.
I was quick. I was skilled. You know, I was specialized in advanced cardiac life support and basic life support. I was tutoring in that area, you know, and stuff, you know, so I was very good.
Tell me about, I want to hear about some of the memorable situations that you recall from
so many
accident and emergency.
Yeah, so many. I think I can write a book. And you know, there are so many, you know, 9 years.
Anyone that stands out, any one particular
Well,
situation?
I remember one situation where we had, well, that one, it was, I remember a gentleman coming in early morning, hours of the morning. It was maybe like 1, 2 o'clock. And he was having some difficulty with his throat. So he was salivating, you know, hypersalivating and whatever. So one senior nurse was working, and that's one of my mentor nurses. And we examined him and so forth, and we realized, you know, he had maybe some inflammation or swelling in the throat. And to make it short,
it's okay.
You know, to make it short, it's like he accelerated to the point that his airway totally closed. And the way it closed was in a way that we could not intubate him, because this entire area, its epiglottis, was something like an
well, you can use whatever terminology you want.
It's what that opens and closes in terms of breathing and swallowing.
Break it down.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, so it was, so one of the the areas in the throat, you know, it's responsible for, you know, when you swallow, it opens, and when you breathe, it closes to prevent food from going into your windpipe and stuff. So it's the epiglottis. So he get epiglottitis. It seems like it was swollen, so it can block off his airway. And you know, with something like this, you can't try to push him, because you can make it more edematous, more swelling. He would require to have a tracheostomy, meaning some hole directly into his trachea. And what happened, the doctor that was on shift had gone, and although we tried to get him back, he kept giving us orders and orders and orders, and verbal And you know, we knew what we knew, and we didn't want the man to die, and more we tried to. So at the end, we had to end up calling the ENT specialist. You know, normally the doctor would call and say this and whatever. And to that point, we just say to heck with whatever. It's not about a relationship, and whatever is about the client and saving his life. And we called the specialist and we spoke to him, and yes, he came immediately. And we actually had to be running to the theater with him. We had to prepare everything in case that he stops breathing, and doctor would have to put the track. And so we spent hours with this man, you know, and then we ran with him to the theater, maybe like 6 o'clock in the morning. And when we break through the theater, the door, the man stopped breathing. You know, now we are not theater nurses, we are A&E nurses, and there's a certain point that you can reach if you're not properly attired and stuff. So when we push with the oddlies and the doctor,
they stop you.
Well, we stop because we know, and then the theater nurses take over. And then the oddlies came back and gave us that shake, that handshake, meaning that the man had stopped breathing. And we sat down in the floor of that theater and we started to cry. Let me tell you, big cry. We sat on the floor crying.
Did he die?
And then one of the theater nurses came by the glass and gave us a thumbs up.
Okay.
So it seems as he did stop breathing, but as they pushed him through the door, because we had already set up a pack for Dr. Irving Pascal.
So you helped to save that man's life.
He could have just cut, choop, and got him back.
Yes.
And started.
Thank goodness.
And I mean,
that leads me to though, because you spoke about being emotional and crying and all of that. Are you I mean, I know we're talking about human beings. You're a human being and so on. So are you supposed to allow the emotional aspect to get?
Of course. I mean, you do not do it to the extent that it affects your ability to care.
Right.
You know, for the person. You understand? So you see, we did all that we could have done, and then it was no longer our responsibility to care for him, so we could have broken down. You understand? And I mean, that's a bond that Nurse and I shared for years. You know, after we could go to the man was so happy. And you know, I mean, there was another incident when my niece, I was working a night, and a bus stopped in the emergency access. I was in this in charge, I was working for junior nurse. And a bus flashing and somebody knocking down the door. So I ran to it and I opened, and my mother-in-law just put my niece in my hand. She was unresponsive and she was feeding.
What is feeding?
It's having a seizure.
Oh, okay. Feeding. Yes.
Yeah. And I took that child. I did everything for her. She was having a febrile seizure, a seizure associated with fever. I set up a drip, I took bloods, I put on oxygen, I put, used cooling measures, whatever. Then I went across and I called the doctor.
That's your family?
Yes. So I did everything that was necessary without even calling the doctor. Did everything. I just kicked in, you know. That's,
yes.
I don't panic and I don't break. I call the doctor.
Important.
Yes, I don't break, no matter what. I call him and I tell him, look, we have whatever and what I did and whatever. He said, what you did, everything. And then I left everyone and went in the toilet.
And you go and cry.
Crying my guts. Up to today, that's the first time you're hearing about it.
Oh my. So he's hearing that for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh wow. This is incredible.
Not too long ago in 2016, we had my
you see the stories are coming.
Was in an MPA. I mean, there are so many.
Yes.
So was in an MPA. I know most people knew about his ministry, Shillingford. He worked at National Bank.
Yes.
And he was in a very critical
accident.
Yeah.
That was tough for you.
Yes. You know, and the moment, that was the hardest for me. Because of course I'm the health person in the family. And as I tell you, my brothers-in-law It's not brother-in-law, it's my
Their
brothers.
brothers, yes.
So I have one biological brother, which is Martin, but I also have 3 other brothers. And I got that call because very early, because it so happened. And it's because I have such a good relationship with all nurses. I'm telling you the truth. If I don't know one, it's because maybe she have not been wrong tongue, or I'm just good with all my nurses. I just love all my colleagues. You understand? It's a tough job that we do. And the things people say in terms of money and whatever, the things we do, no money, can really pay us for that. The type of things we have to keep in on our chest and unable to share. Sometimes we cry at night, hours, for people because of their burden that want something to happen for them, a breakthrough. And people don't know about those things, so please just love our nurses. Everyone cannot be the same. All nurses can be like me.
We're human.
And
they're human.
And they have different issues, different things that affect them. I mean, the way people act is based on your lived experience. Something happened to them at some point, but yet still they choose to be a nurse. And in all good there's bad, and in all bad there's good. So this was one of the most, and it's because I've been so good to a lot of my nurses, the younger ones, I try to motivate them. There were 3 nurses, and my brother calls them his angels, that were out having some fun. They went to the beach and whatever, and they came across an accident. And there was one particular, she calls me her mommy, who had just returned from doing an accident, an emergency course in Jamaica. So she had all her tools with her. Since she come back from training, she had IVs, she had granulas and everything. And they came upon that accident with my brother-in-law, Troy. And they were able to set up a drip for him, put pressure to the wound, and all of what he had was life-threatening. Life-threatening, 20% chance of survival, right? And they were able to set up a drip for him and put pressure and whatever. That saved his life till he reached to the hospital. But on the ambulance, they were able to call me. You see, when you go with everybody. So nurse what, Esling, you listening, Esling? I knew already that, also there was a neighbor, one of my neighbors who was on site telling me, nurse, okay. So I was able to get to the hospital before he arrived, call the necessary people, have everything waiting
ready
for when he came in. But what was the hardest part for me? Now I had to jump in and be the nurse. So all his mommy and his brothers outside, they're trying to break down doors and stuff. And I'm not telling them anything, but I'm doing what I have to do.
That was your primary focus.
Yes. And the hardest part about all this one, and maybe that's one of the hardest things I ever had to deal with, was when the doctor told me, the consultant, after we went to the x-rays, not good. This is very bad, actually, very bad. Anywhere in the world, you would be. So whether it's America, there's Dominica, whatever, the chances of death and survival, 80% of death, 20% survival. Anywhere in the world. So no matter how many specialists you have, or the equipment, or the staff, wherever you would be, so whether Dominica, if it was stays, there's only a 20% chance of survival. And he told me that. And my brother was still, he was responsive still when he came in, even though he had a big hole, a number of major injuries. And even in that time, I must laugh, every instruction they get to him, he had to ask me, sister, do it. So they tell him, put up his hand, sister, put up my hand, open your mouth, open my mouth. She'd ask me everything. I don't know if you remember that, but he asked to make sure I agree with everything he asked him. And then the doctor told me that, and I went into a room. I can't remember which room it was at that time. And I burst, and I screamed. I sit down on the toilet, and then the x-ray technician and one of the nurses, they came because they realized I just disappeared. And they tell me, nurse, everything will be okay, I said, yes.
Your
okay.
Colleagues giving you some level of comfort.
And I came out. I wiped my eyes and I came out and I put the hammer. And I went to the doctor. I said 20%. Okay, we're working with 20%. What next?
And you got to work.
Yes. What next? You know, and I never told his mom, his brother, you know, till very later on.
You didn't tell him about the 80-20?
No, no. His mom is a praying mom.
Did you tell him?
No.
Nobody?
No.
In the family?
No. Because you
So
didn't
you,
want them
but you realize you carried that though. I mean, it must have been difficult for you to carry that kind of information.
Yes.
And not being able to share,
I had to do
tell
it
them.
because you didn't want them breaking down. You know,
Yes.
some information, everybody cannot take it the same way. And I wanted them to have hope. They had to have hope for him. So they had to speak positive into him. You have to, you know, that kind of way. Right. So I remember trying to get him out. And we were having difficulty because it was around Christmas, you know, and stuff. New Year's came. And I remember making noise because Martin couldn't take him because it was the 1st of January. And wondering, but what up? Why they can't take him because not even realizing it was New Year's.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. But he's good. He's
Yes.
back at work.
He is. I know him.
And he's listening.
I actually encountered him some time ago. I think he had something to do with flow, and I actually tried to assist him.
Yeah.
Yes, but he is fine. 80-20, huh?
Yep.
He definitely defied that,
Yes.
and I suspect you helped give him that strength too.
A lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
Dominica was on the. Anyway.
Yes.
But these are just a few
of the experiences
yes,
from
yes,
accident and emergency. And if today or tomorrow you were asked to return there, would you go back?
No.
You would not go back there.
No, I will not go back there.
Any reason why?
There are a number of reasons, and one of the main reasons is the reason why I decided to specialize in what I am in today.
Okay.
So I loved A&E so much, I would have specialized in the emergency nursing and remained there.
Okay.
You know, but there are a number of things that made me change.
So tell us what transpired from.
So from
there.
A&E department, after doing my first degree, which is a bachelor's in nursing, I was seconded to the Dominica State College Faculty of Health Sciences. And I was the clinical instructor. Clinical instructor means that he would teach the students all the skills, the practical skills that they would use
Blood
as a nurse.
and so on.
You better believe it. You know, so everything from doing a normal bed bath, you know, to things like taking blood and setting up drips and all of that. And of course, if you want people to be expired and whatever, you get somebody that really love and right.
Sure,
So
makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. So when I just started, I had Krishna, which she was returning. So she was a lone student doing the RN, and then there were 3 others doing a nursing assistant program, that is Mara and Miss Benjamin and Miss Lee. You know, so I had them first, and then I get to meet my first cohort, that is class of 2011 to 2014, right? There were a group of 18 of them. Look, a dynamic group. Of course, I remember all of them by name, and of course, I speak to mostly all of them. Some of them I'm closer to, but any of them can call me anytime. Right? It can be, and I was a mentor, I was a teacher, I was a friend, I was a...
And I can understand, honestly,
Yeah.
I can clearly understand why.
Yeah. They could, if they were not able to get bus to come to class, they come at my home and spend the week. Yes. It could be something personal.
I mean, you're doing Joe things.
but you know, they call him, some of them call him Joe Daddy.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, so yes, I mean, everything Joe is tete-a-tete.
Yes,
Me, I
yes.
never do nothing without
Of
his-
course.
Yes. And this first 19, you know, this was 18 group, Observer, Devo, is one of those, Davidson, and I know he always talking about Shillingford.
Yes.
You know, I really love them, really genuinely. And one of the things about teaching student nurses is that you cannot teach people to be empathetic in a classroom and to love. But you know how you can get them to do it? demonstrating it to them.
True.
So they know, all of them know, I love them. I never judge them. They could tell me anything good or bad. I mean, I'll suck it to them, you know, but never judge.
Yeah, because you're a professional.
Exactly. You know, I tell them right, we wrong, nonsense, you're doing whatever, but. And we used to have jokes because they had a thing they used to say, oh, that's Mrs. Shillingford's serious face. And that is because I could get very serious. Okay? So my first 18, you know, as I say, I'm still with them, I talk with them. And then I had a 26. A next 26, that's my second batch. Same thing. I know all of them by name. I have a communication with all of them, you know, and I keep motivating them and showing them leading. I'm a mentor. You know how it is to be a witness, you know. One of the greatest things is to love. Just love. If you just love people and respect them, you treat them, you're willing to go the extra mile.
Will they tell you, class of 2012 to 2014?
Sorry, maybe. Okay, I'm getting older in the senior moment. Give me that.
Caught by the river.
All of that.
Used to be lit. Okay.
Yeah, so to break, I mean, I know they came from, they didn't have a lot of money and whatever. After the semester, after all the stress and whatever, what I could do for them was say, hey, there's a river next to me. Come, we cook in a pot. Let's go, just to, you know, all of this.
Very nice.
And then I had another group of 12, 15, and this was a MA to RN group. It was with all of them. I still talk to all of them. You know,
I mean, this is really important.
Yeah.
This is really important.
Yep.
So you continue teaching?
No, so I left nursing school in 2014. So while there, I started to do a degree in health promotion, my master's degree. So that's where education and nursing
meet.
Yes. My both loves. Because of course, health promotion has a significant amount of health education in it. So I'm able to remain a nurse and still do a lot of nursing things and yet still educate public, nursing, doctors. So even if my mother tried keeping me away from education,
it was meant to be. And the two came together beautifully.
So right now, I am actually at ministry as a coordinator of health promotion.
Okay.
So I did a Master's of Education in Health Promotion, which makes me a health promotion specialist.
Interesting. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
that.
And people, it was not easy, of course. Of course, you know it was not easy. I mean, after I did my first degree, or while doing my first degree, I was also building my home. And I was getting like $115 as my salary. Because after I pay the mortgage, I had to start pay for the rent where I stayed, and then pay all our bills. I was only getting $115 take home pay. So you see these sacrifices. Right? And with that $115, and I told my students that all the time. There were times these $100 I used to fold very small and put in my purse because I didn't want to have to break it till I really, because you know when you break $100, it finished.
Oh, it's gone.
Sometimes 2 weeks free weeks would go in a month and I would still have that $100. When you do good, when you love genuinely and you expect nothing written, these are the blessings that God gives. I'm telling the truth. I tell them that all the time. I didn't get more money. Right in my pay, yes, I got the $115 every month. But God made that money stretch that I never had to ask. I never stayed without any food, my husband and I, or anything like that. I would go by the bus stop and vehicles would make a wrong road and come and pick me up and take me to work. Say, nursing that was son, I'm taking you to work. Provision would come and meet me from people I don't even know. It could have been a little lady, not even a nurse in casualty. I maybe pass on the ward and her foot was maybe hanging off the bed.
And you fix it.
And I just put it over and say, hey granny, how your foot? Let me fix it for you. A bag of provision would reach and I wouldn't know from who. Lunch would reach, mulch would reach, the day I say, no, yes, I will break it, they might just tell me, no, Shillingford, you have a workshop, we didn't send anybody, whatever. You can go, send me to a workshop and I get lunch. You know that kind of things? Things would just happen. Something might work out, we can never people us.
Oh, it just make me emotional, that program. Look at me all getting teary-eyed.
It's true for Dinah.
This
you
is...
know, that's what you see. You just do things genuinely. You don't just love people, and you see your way. You see your way. I'm telling you the truth. So when I started saying, but Jay, how are we going to do it, baby? That alone I'm going to, going to have, and then all the other rest of
God was just providing.
Yeah. And when I get my little bag of little thing, I give my colleague too.
Of course, you still share.
Yeah. And also there was the other end. I mean, when I was in A&E, a lot of times there were a group of people, they would refer to some of my colleagues, my people. And these were the gangster boys, the rough guys. During that time they used to have a lot of gangs and fighting and whatever. I knew all the gangs. I knew all the guys. And I used to be there, and sometimes they would come and people, and if they don't see me, they're going, yeah. And I'll take care of them too, just like anybody else, as if it was carried. Oliver Roosevelt carried or Leonard Clinton.
Yes.
Same here.
Yes.
You come in, you're aggressive and whatever, I say my partner.
It's either you want help or not.
It's not me, so check me, I check you. If you check me, I check you. You understand? And when I start caring for you, no matter what you said before or whatever, how you got on, when you in my care, you get the best care. You understand? And I would meet them, out when I go out and I say, Minus, why does that kind of, my husband didn't like that, he didn't want, but they'd say, Minus, that looking nice, and that kind of thing, because, I did my best.
I mean, you're truly an inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm saying that very genuinely. I'm intrigued by you, it's like I'm just glued onto you myself. I'm the host. But I'm glued as well because, I'm saying you are special, girl.
Amen for Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah, but all is for His glory.
Yes.
And that's why, as I told you, I'm doing this today. But normally I would not go and speak of.
Yes. Yeah, because when we spoke, you said, oh my goodness, you're causing me to come and talk about myself. But I'm happy you came. I am very, very happy you came. And that you're talking to us about yourself, because talking about yourself to me is critical to us learning so much more than we thought. And it's not even just about you. We're learning about the process, and we're learning about nurses. And I want to also, while we're talking about it, you touched on it a little earlier on, and you said not every nurse will be the same, not everybody's the same, and not everybody will behave the same, and you will not probably get the same treatment from everybody. And over the years, we've heard nurses this and nurses that and nurses the other, and then you'll have others who will probably say something different and so on. And then you'll hear people complaining about coming to casualty, which was one of your favorite areas, and staying there for hours and all of that. Help us understand, first of all this hours long story thing too. Yes, you tell me about that one, because I've experienced it. But do we misunderstand nurses? What is the issue?
Well, I think.
But I'll tell you, some of them does really have some kind of say face, eh? And yes.
Well, it goes both ways. I think sometimes we misinterpret nurses, and sometimes, of course, just as I said, that in all good there's bad and in all bad there's good. There are some persons with some serious personality issues and problems.
Then don't be a nurse.
But the majority of them are very good. But
I
the
believe
likelihood of us remembering one thing that was bad as opposed to 100 that was good is very high. So that's what happens. In terms of the long stay in accident and emergency, when I worked there, it had long stays as well. You understand? Much hasn't changed in terms of the stay at the accident and the emergency department. But one of the major issues is for using the accident and the emergency department for what it is meant to be. Okay? So, for instance, if you do not have what we could term an emergency or urgency, you should not come to the emergency department. If you are coming with a flu, a normal flu or cold, or something that has happened to you 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, sometimes even 5 days ago. It is no longer an emergency unless if the situation has changed. It has become a complicating. You understand? So if you're coming for something as a simple flu to get a sick leave, you know, and you cry down the place, I mean, you don't expect me to see you before
to get a sick leave
with a chest pain, or a child with a fever, or with a respiratory distress. And you know what some people say? Oh, the sick leave just take 2 minutes. So just that 2 minutes, just check me, and then you can go and spend
But some people actually come there to say they come to get sick leave?
Yes.
Papa man.
Yes. So because you know if you have a flu and you require to stay off for 5 days or something like that. Yes, they come for a sick leave. Let's have a flu and whatever, and whatever, I need a sick leave. You know? And these are some of the time we have to take to discuss all that with you. And sometimes we don't, because we know person's condition can change and all of that. Sometimes we still screen you and whatever. And the time we take to screen you and assess you and make sure we do it thoroughly and whatever, we could be doing something else that was more urgent. You understand? And these are the people that come and curse outside the A&E department and make noise, because if somebody is really sick, they don't have the energy, really and truly. So
you're saying the primary thing is that
a lot of it,
the people need to recognize the accident and emergency department for what it is. Accidents and emergency
or urgencies. You understand? You know, there are some things, of course, you need to come to the accident and emergency. But a number of things you can be seen by your health centers, which are all over the country, or go to your private doctor if you are able to. You understand? So a lot of it, sometimes there are a number of people that are ill, very ill at the same time. Okay, so that's the other reason why persons may have to wait a lot. So you may come to the emergency department with an emergency or urgency. But then we have to a triage and see which of the urgencies of the emergency must take priority.
I see.
So sometime at a given time we may have several persons. So for instance, typical of somebody, asthmatics and people with elevated blood pressures that are maybe symptomatic, meaning they have signs and symptoms. If we have a number of asthmatics, you know, of course it's still one at a time. If it has 3 nurses, then, you know, 2 of the nurses can do, but we can't see all 5 together. You know, so while some people will say, oh, they say asthma is an emergency and they have a child. You know, but there may be different levels of emergency. We may have somebody with asthma with just a cough, and then we have a child who is wheezing and flaring. Who do you take first? The child who is wheezing and flaring. You understand? So at any given time, we may have several persons with high blood pressure. You know, so somebody say, oh, I come and my pressure was so high, and they have me sit down outside there. But we may have 5 more, and these 5 people, one may be symptomatic, one may have chest pain with it, another one may have had disease with it, but they will take priority over you. You know, so sometimes it will, I mean, I've never gone to any, and I've traveled a good bit, any hospital that in the emergency room, it doesn't have a long waiting period. I remember when I worked there, and I'm not saying that the nurses are able to do that now as often I would have then. Very often I would come up and keep people abreast. You understand? So I'd say, hello, I'm sorry that you're there so long, and you know, we have a number of persons that that are more critical than you, and you know, things like that. And sometimes too, maybe I'd start up the day with a little lesson on the uses of the emergency department. And what I would find, if I had 25, by the time I'm done, maybe 10 would remain, not 12 would remain.
Oh, some would leave?
Yeah, because they know, they realize, you understand? But a lot of times people know what is the purpose, and they just think that they can get by and just do me fast. And, you know, so if you do me 2 minutes that take you, and the lady, you can stay 10 minutes with her, but 2 minutes can literally put somebody's life, you know, that kind of way. Yes. Sometimes there's staffing issues, you understand? I mean, I remember when I worked in casualty, I started having a bad gastritis, epic gastritis, because I didn't used to eat. Every time I'd go to eat, somebody would come, nurse, and I do not like people to wait on me. I don't like people to feel like I'm doing them a favor and they depend on me and that kind of thing, which is bad. You know, I would come with my breakfast and I'd go with it or eat it before I leave for you not to make noise. You know, that kind of way, and that is bad practice. Or I hold my urine, because every time I go to use the somebody as a child called.
Then you're giving yourself an urinary tract infection?
Exactly. Well, I never had one of those, thank God. You know, so I would, you know, right away go into, and you realize, so I started having gastritis and like pain in my epigastric region from not eating on time. So I had to really put down my foot and say, hey, every time or whatever, you need to go and eat unless it's something life and death. You know, and a lot of nurses do that. I mean, you don't know the plight of, you know, we work very hard. And I want to big up my AN nurses. They know this is my heart. And every time I come to the hospital, I must pass there and say hi, you know, and whatever. But they work very hard. They are very skilled, you know, they are very skilled. I mean, I had the experience of being in Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados with Troy when he was there. And the standard of, and I keep saying, oh, mine is deadly and that, mine is deadly. You know, that kind of, we are very good. And that's why the nurses that go out in the diaspora, they do very well. Everyone wants Dominica's nurses. You know, because they are very highly skilled, well trained, and well rounded.
So I'm going to touch on a subject which you'll decide whether or not you want to comment on it. So we know in recent time your nurses had been, some nurses had been demonstrating, and they're asking for certain things that they want for nurses and so on. Are you in support of, you know, providing the nurses with what they require or what it is they're asking for?
Okay, I'll start by saying that the human resource is your greatest resource.
Correct.
In every institution. And nurses are the backbone of the healthcare. Now, if you want the best qualities and standards of care, you have to have a happy population. And that is where I always stay, because while I support the need for that and whatever, but their modus of operandi can be different.
Okay.
With that said, I want to say from the time I came into this in 1996, and remember I tell you on the serious side, I became an affiliated member, one of the Dominican Nurses Association, because I was still a student in this from 1996 to 99, so I couldn't be a full-fledged member. So I was affiliated. As soon as I graduated and became a full-fledged nurse, I became a member of the association in 1999. And I have been since, and an active one as well. All protests, all demonstrations, everything the NA has ever had, I was part of it, I have been part. But the thing about me is that nurse and nursing is nurse and nursing. There's no blue, no red, no white, no yellow. And I can clearly separate those two. And anytime I feel that there may be a slant or any abnormalities that prevent all my sisters from coming together, I have a problem with that. Okay, so as I said, I've been to all others, so much so in 2012, Rosie can maybe correct me, I formed part of a task force that was formed by the Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit when we had done a series of protests asking for better, so a few things that we needed for nurses. So Rosie and I sat in a task force. And things like, you know, the fencing of the hospital and increasing uniform allowance and special allowances for people with post-basic degrees like those who did midwifery and stuff, we fought for that and we got it. So that's how serious I am about nurse and nursing. Okay? So I will stop there.
Okay. And I will not, and I'll not push you any further on this. And I think you shared enough. You shared quite a bit actually. I can decipher clearly from what you're saying based on what you shared, and I'm sure you know those who are listening and those who are viewing can decipher as well. And I do not want us to stray too much from this glorious program that we've been having.
So it's very important to be part of your association, okay? The fact that I have been a member of my dear the Dominican Nurses Association has molded me and allowed me to grow and give me experiences that I would not have had if I were not a member and an active member. So much so that I have also sit for 4 years on the Caribbean Nurses Organization board. Okay? Which has 24 countries.
Is plentifully a word? I love that there's plentifully.
You know, so because of DNA, I was able to sit on that regional board. You know, yes. You know, for 4 years. So, you know,
you're active. You know, from listening to you this evening, there's so much that I can extract from what you've shared with us on this program, but I can definitely pull out a few. One, I can tell that you're very dedicated and committed to nursing.
Yep.
The fact that you've gone on further to advance yourself up to the level of a master's degree in this field, it means that this is what you were really meant to do. You clearly are very compassionate. You clearly have the you clearly understand what empathy is, and that it plays a critical role in what you do, as in the job that you do as a nurse, and understanding that no one patient is more important than the other, but you give the same care to everybody who comes through you and needs that care. I can tell as well that you're a very loving person, and the love story that we got here, tonight, I think is one of the loveliest that I've actually had on this program, and I thank you for sharing that with us. And I mean, I'm not saying that you're not without fault. I'm sure that you have your faults,
No such thing as perfect.
No, and I don't. Right, you said that earlier on. There's no such thing as perfect. But I will say this. I will say that you are the perfect example. I'll use the word perfect in terms of saying example of who or what a nurse should be. I will say that. And based on the comments that I've been seeing coming through the feed, because I can actually see the comments, cameras on here, I can see the comments. I can tell that many other persons share similar views where you are concerned. It is important that you said not everyone is the same and not everyone can be like you.
Correct.
However, I still feel that there may be many who can take example on your approach and how you do what you do.
I agree.
And I think you're a special person, and I really do hope that you continue to share that kind of love, compassion, empathy, and all of that good stuff. Even from where you sit,
even more so,
even from where you sit, that you continue to do that. And I want you to continue inspiring the other nurses. I wish you could go back to teaching, because I think you would just
still teaching.
You're still teaching.
Yeah, because remember, we didn't get to speak about health promotion unit.
Right.
We do.
Speak about it quickly.
But we do a lot of training and education and information.
Okay.
And one of the latest session I did was with the establishment department on aging and health management. They were preparing people to go into retirement. Before that, I did one in Granby with about compassionate leadership. Leadership. How to love and care as a leader to ensure that everyone is happy and behaviors change. So yes, so
you continue doing that.
Yes, man.
Not necessarily in the classroom at the state college per se, but you do it otherwise.
Yes, and if they invite me to come to do something with so for instance, at All Saints, we have a new group of nurses there, and I went to do a session with them on health promotion. So I even get to do it on a wider scale. So yes,
I could keep you here all night, but I see the phone lighting up, and it's okay. We'll just take a few minutes, and we'll take a couple of calls for you. So put on your headset. If you want to hear Joe, you need to put on some headphones as well. We're going to take a couple of calls for this. It's not working. For this Shillingford. The numbers 4493095, 4493096, 4493097. Overseas, it's 305-432-9624. And let's take this call. Good evening. Hi, good evening.
Hello. Excuse me?
He said that you said there's nothing as perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, object to that. Perfection is man's birthright.
Okay.
Perfect. Created perfect. So there's object to it is just something.
All right. All right, sir. All right, thank you for that. It's okay. He just probably wanted to comment regarding the fact that you said there's nothing that's perfect, etc., etc. But I think he probably doesn't quite get what you mean when you say that. So clarify.
No, it's okay. We will learn to agree to disagree. Yes.
We will learn to agree to disagree. All right, so we continue to talk, and we're going to take this call right here. Hello, good evening. Good night to you. Good evening to you.
Because you have that special lady, if you announce we thank her for all what she did for my girl while in nursing school. God.
Thank you. Her daughter was one of my.
Oh, her daughter was one of your.
Her daughter is one of my daughters.
Her daughter is one of your daughters. Okay, so you have all of these children, from school. So, say that again. Oh yes, sorry. 4493095, 4493096, 4493097. The overseas line is 305-432-9624. We opened up the lines a bit late. I know around that time most persons are probably just comfortably either listening or viewing. They're using their phone to view and all of that. So this has just been a really, really wonderful conversation that we had tonight on this program. And for a moment, I almost felt like I was we were just sitting at a table just having a conversation, me and you, and then we just happened to have a listening audience, and Joe just happened to be on the table with us, but not participating too much in our conversation there tonight. But put this back on, so we'll just take one or two, and then we're going to have to get ready to wrap up. But good evening.
Couldn't see you, my child.
Thank you, Pater. Grandmother to one of my.
Oh my goodness.
My niece and nephew.
Oh Jesus. I suspect you have that whole thing going on with the families and with those children that you have adopted from teaching them. But as we're getting ready to close off the program tonight, let us get a summary. The phone is lighting up. We're just gonna try to get whoever it is to be brief. So let's just try to be brief so we can begin wrapping up. Good evening. Good night.
Thank you.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you used to live in Planet?
Yep.
Yes.
I can recall you.
Okay.
I had a ear blockage, and when I went to doctor gave me medicine, but I had to go to the hospital to flush it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in the morning, and however, there was so much people. But you tell me, well, after your shift at 2, you make your recording, then you will do it on your own time. And let me make you remember moving that is to living. He's dying or he's to living motivate his brother.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Oh.
What you just did. Thank you very much. Okay, that's nice.
So wait, you tell the gentleman after your shift on your own time when you finish do whatever you would help him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is was this a normal practice for you?
Very much so. Very much so.
And you still have Joe?
Joe was almost an oddly. Joe.
Put it back.
Joe almost became an official.
Let's keep it brief. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
You sound like a real nightingale.
Yes.
Yes. You sound like a real nightingale. And I wish, that, many people go to the hospital because they can understand exactly what strange sometimes illnesses endure. And, but some of maybe they seem to have no training, they treat you anyhow, you know. But a nurse, I always look at the nurse as a receptionist at the hotel also, you know, because the guest goes into the hotel, and based on the, you know, the appearance or response to the guest doesn't feel like coming in. So when the patient goes to the hospital and the nurse is, you know, welcome or accepting the patients to attend to them, then, you know, even that can make the patient feel better, right, psychologically. So I want to congratulate you, and I wish that, you know, you could impart your knowledge and skills and experience or up-and-coming nurses, young nurses, so that, you know, it helps, because all that adds to good healthcare. So I want to congratulate you again. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Good evening.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, hello, Ken.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Situation once I came in with asthma, and you were on the nebulizer, and you gave me a space. You that short, thick nose, right?
Yes.
I remember. Too straight, my girl.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know how many more of those. So you were on the nebulizer, you got off, and you put the patient on the nebulizer.
Yeah. So yes, I'm asthmatic, and there are times I remember. I mean, some people may think that wasn't good at all, or very maybe stupid. But sometimes I would come to work, and then maybe I would be ill. I have asthmatic attacks. So sometimes I would nab my clients, and then I'll go in the other room and I nab myself, and then, you know, I mean, this is the part about my nursing career we didn't get to talk about. You know, the part where I got asthma. I got it as an adult. I got it as a second-year student. So I came into the nursing in 1996. In 1998, there was this bad cold, flu, that killed a good bit of elderly persons and, you know, made people a lot of people sick. I got this flu, and I was admitted with a pneumonia on the ward for like 6 days. I got it real bad. And then after that, every 2 months I was ill. Wheezing, you know, the works, until I was diagnosed with asthma. And there was a point of my time in my nursing career when I thought that, you know, I would have to leave nursing because I was getting this so bad. You know, and I was working in the emergency room. So sometimes, you know, I would come to work and I'd be feeling bad, but I still want to come, you know, so I would, you know, nebulize people, and I'd go and nebulize myself. But there was a time when I realized that wasn't good at all. It was prolonging my illness. So for instance, you know, if I would have been ill for 2 days or 1 day, the fact that I did that, I would end up being sick for a whole week. And of course it was impacting on my colleagues, because when I'm unable to come to work, somebody has to work another shift, you know, extra shift, and it was a
You didn't like that?
Not at all, you know. And that's one time maybe even my colleagues, I felt let down by them, because while we would understand what's happening in terms of asthma with our clients and talk to them and be empathetic and whatever, to me some of them got angry and, you know, said things about me, you know. So I even questioned, you know, you see, I came into that nursing thing, my mother was saying that you didn't have any asthma and you get that before the drugs you were smelling, you know, and if my child didn't go into nursing, she would get asthma, you know, that kind of thing. You know, so it was a very hard time, you know, and I had to really think it through. And I said to myself, Mignon, you know what you have to do? Anytime you start feeling a little ill, whatever, stay home.
Yes.
Do what you have to do, get yourself better, whatever, and then it will prevent you from being out for a whole week.
Yes.
You know, if you just took a day, you know, that kind of way. And I started doing that and doing a lot of research. I can consider myself an asthma specialist because I've read everything, I've done. To this point that people don't really know I'm asthmatic if I don't tell them. Or in the case,
didn't figure that out.
Yes. Or in the case where our, you know, our client called and she remembered me, you know, in casualty, but people don't even know I'm an asthma.
So clearly you work a lot. So before we wrap up, I want to just ask you this one thing. What do you do for fun? What do you do in your spare time?
I love to dance. And I love
Just sit up and fix his pants.
I love to dance. And that's one of the other things I have also spoken to my younger nurses, my colleagues about. We work 24/7. We work on holidays, we work on weekends. We miss a lot of family time, the beach days, the weddings, the whatever. Because if you do not request it, most likely you might be working that particular time. So every month, you have to do something for yourself.
True.
If it's to buy a shoe, if it's to go out and dance, if it's to eat something nice, the degree of activity may vary because you may have other responsibilities. So it can move from a burger to a shoe or to a Lance bag that costs $300 and something.
Yes.
You decide.
Yes.
Because you cannot keep working and mix and doing nothing for self. So every month, I still do something special for myself. Every single month. And I say it varies. But apart from that, all work and no play make Johnny a dumb boy. So I like to go to karaoke and I like a little happy hour. And in my younger days, I loved WCK. Yeah, so Joanna and I, we followed them everywhere. We were diehard fans of, WCK band. So I like to dance, I like the bouillon, I like gospel, any music. The only one I don't like is rock.
Okay.
Because all the heavy metal and stuff I don't like. But any music, I sing it and I dance it.
Okay.
I love.
It's interesting. We still have quite a bit of viewers. I would think by now that people were getting ready to go to their beds, but they're still there. But we're going to have to wrap up on this beautiful Monday night with this beautiful guest that I've gotten to know so much better tonight, and I'm really grateful is with us on the program tonight and shared so much with us. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Mignon, to share some final words with us. Be it whichever angle you want to take, it is up to you. But I really just want to thank you and to wish you well, because you have so much to give. So much to give. I don't know where you're going to land from where you are now. I don't know if you have plans for anything else in the future, but you do. But are we going to keep it on the wraps for now? That I know, and that I understand. But yes, we're going to take some final comments from you, and over to you.
Okay, so I just want to take the opportunity to just give a big up to some of the nurse pioneers that have been a mentor, to me, a model. Nurse Geraldine Weber. Sister Weber is one of my nursing mothers. She has passed.
Yes.
And So to her daughter Shanna, and Nerissa, I loved Mommy very much. To Agnes Brooks, Sister Brooks, she's in Dominica at present. She was our nursing principal at the school, and she continued to communicate with me and even send happy anniversaries. It has been 19 years and she still remembers, when John and I got married. Sister Ophelia Linton, when I was a very young nurse, she identified the talents that I had, the skills and the fact that maybe one day I would be a good nurse, and she really got me involved in a number of things that allowed me to grow, Who else? Why not? I feel a little thing, as I mentioned.
What you said is making me a little emotional.
Yes. So Ophelia Linton, Sister Louis, all these people are retired nurses now. Sister Louis, you are one of my mentors. Nurse Bouquet, Nurse Bowers, Vashanti Smith, all these people were, I looked up to them, and Nurse Jaita, and I said that, these are nurses. Our piano at present, Nurse Ravalier, these were nurses that were, very good. you know. And there's one particular doctor, you know, I came into nursing at a time when he too was coming in as an intern, or yes, Dr. Irving McIntyre. And I mean, this is one of the doctors. I was a first year student and already doing skills that I would have done as a third year. And that was one of the persons who inspired me and pushed me, you know, and I worked for a very extensive time with him in the emergency room. You know, I learned a lot from him, so for that I want to say thanks. And all of the other persons who I may not have thought of right now, you know, and of course my mother is my rock, you know, everything, anything I say, I hint to her I might want to do, she tell me you can do it. You know, she said, of course, Mignon, you can do it. Of course, so what are you going to do to get it done? You know, that kind of way. So my mom is my rock. Later down, next 2 months, she'll be getting her 80th birthday.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's a privilege to have a
Happy
parent
birthday
at
to
that
her
age.
in advance, of
Yeah,
course.
so the 22nd of July. You know, and also, I always say I have 2 moms. One is my biological mom, and one is my mother-in-law, who is Martha Shillingford. That's Joe's mom.
Okay.
And of course, because, you know, we have started so young, I mean, I have had a relationship with her from very young, you know, and she has been a rock as well, very good support. And that is maybe one of the reasons to that Joe and I are so solid, because in terms of our in-laws, my sisters love him, my brothers love him, and sometimes I say my mother love him more than me now, you know, that kind of way, you know, so they are, you know, we're just one big happy family, you know. So all of my nurses out there, blessed Nurses Week, I know it passed Nurses Day. I just want to say to the public, love your nurses. I mean, yes, there are some of us that need to improve in our ways and in our caring nature. And this is not just about nursing. This is the entire public service in terms of customer service and all of that, and how we treat people. And I do understand why, as the caller said, that based on how you treat a client when they come in and they are sick, might help with the outcome. Not might, will definitely help with the outcome. Okay, so I understand that. So those of us that need to pull up our socks, you know, and just change, I want you to do that. And those of you, which is a lot more than those that are not working well, that are actually doing well, I want to give you the full thumbs up, and I want to tell you to go for it and continue the hard work that you are doing, especially all of my my students, my daughters and sons. You know, continue to make my nose grow, because you know, anything you do good, my nose growing just like your parents. You know, those of whom that have migrated and now in the diaspora, I mean, we still keep in communication wherever you go. You know, be the best nurse you can be. And my husband on this side there,
Yes.
my P&J.
Oh.
You know, yes.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Pride and joy.
That was
You know, so thank you for the, you know, the type of support that you have given to me. Because of you, I am.
No.
He complimented me a lot, you know, and he have always stood by me, you know, every step of the way. I just call him an unofficial nurse, because through all of my studies and stuff, he would have to test me, and he would have had to read over stuff, and so he learned a lot of things along the way, that sometimes he even advises colleagues and persons and stuff, because he got skills,
Yes.
you know, because he has been so much involved,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, in everything I do, you know, and stuff. So I want to say thank you to him, and can only get better from here.
I think so too. All right, we have to wrap things up now on the program. And I know I've said it already, but I really do appreciate this guest tonight. I mean, I appreciate all my guests. You know how I do it on this program. But you know, there are those that really come and just leave this lasting impression on me. There are those who come and inspire me as well, me personally. And I think she did this tonight very beautifully. And I want to thank you again, Mignon, Shillingford, Rolle Shillingford. Sorry, Joe, Rolle Shillingford. Thank you so much for being here on the program tonight. Again, I think we were all, in some way or the other, inspired by your presence. All the best to you, my dear. And I will continue looking out for you, maybe a little even more now. And feel free to send other guests my way, all right?
Okay.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, all of you who listened. Thank you for viewing, all those of you who viewed the program. We will be here next week, Monday. Our guest for next week, Monday, is already confirmed. But I'll tell you during the course of the week. Look out for the Facebook posts and so on, and we will tell you. They might just stop working, right? All right. Okay.
Slow. End that.